So today we're going to try to get a power steering pump put in this guy, or actually a power steering box. I've already got the pump on there. She's hanging out. Got some accessories on there. Didn't really film any of that. It was kind of just me glass beating up the parts and spraying some aluminum blast on there to make them look nice and new. But regardless, I've got a kit from Captain Fab. He's actually on the 67 to 72 C10 forums, and he makes a nice kit for a 62 to put a newer power steering box on it. And hopefully that's going to pair nicely with my Hydro Boost that's on the truck. I am going to run into a few issues because the power steering box I have is an SAE fitting and the lines I have are metric, but I'm pretty sure we can overcome that without a big issue. It's just a 3/8 flare, so I can cut the end off and make an adapter or something. But I'm going to get you guys set up here. I guess I can show you the kit, spin you around. So it's pretty simple. It's just 2 brackets, couple spacers. He gives us some instructions, a template to drill the frame, and there should be a packet that I just had and promptly lost. Oh, it's up on the welder. So yeah, we're going to get all this stuff set up. I'm sure I'm going to have to tap the hole in this guy. I think this hole's going to give me some trouble. I'm going to have to get the rest of the old steering linkage off of there. You can see it's stuck. So I'll cut all that stuff off, tap this hole again. There is my standard fittings. Right here and here. I got to figure out which one's the feed and which one's the return. That shouldn't be too big of a deal. This box, I believe, is out of a late 70s C10, maybe an early 80s. But what's nice is with the kit, he actually gives you a sheet and it'll tell you which years you need to get this power steering box out of and what fittings are on them. But I'm going to start playing with this, and then we're going to have to do some archaeology on here. As you can see, my manual power steering box is a little cruddy. I'm pretty sure all this is going to have to come off. I'm probably going to have to shorten the shaft. But I believe an XJ steering shaft fits in there. So we might just ditch this whole thing and replace it with an XJ shaft. But we'll deal with that when we get there. I got to figure out how to get that rag joint off and fiddle around with the rest of the stuff. And I guess we'll get started here. Okay, guys. So these holes on this particular power steering pump are a 3/8 16 tapped hole. So I'm going to do this the wrong way, and we're just going to power tap this with this bent tap that I have laying around. So I went ahead and I chased those 2 already. This guy right here, though, he's going to be the problem child, I think. So we're going to go nice and slow, chase this hole out. That actually went really smooth, so I'm going to go grab my bolt and make sure the old bolt still fits in there. See if she'll start. Before, she didn't want to go in at all. She's still pretty tight. So I don't know if that's something with this bolt. I don't know. Let's see what bolts he gave me. Maybe these are 3/8. Yep, so these are 3/8. They look like they're grade 8. They are. Hopefully this will just thread right in. And it doesn't. It gets nice and tight. So, I don't know why. If the tap goes in, you would think it'd be okay. Let me see if I can just force a bolt in there and make more work for myself. Break it off. Alright, I'm sure this is going to go well. It's either going to do what I want it to do or break the bolt in there, and I'm going to be having a really rough day. Yep, it went in and came out. See if she'll thread in all the way now. Oh yeah, much better. So what I'm going to do now is probably move away from the truck or get on the other side here. I need to get this cotter pin out, and maybe I can adjust the camera a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Stick my hand in the way, and yeah, see if I can get that nut off. Don't know if I can get lucky enough to just break these. Yeah, there we go. It's probably not going to help me at all, but we'll break them off anyways. Hey, we're spinning. That's good. I was wondering if that was locked up or not. All right, so that's off. The handles on my Harbor Freight cutters are not happy. Let's see what size that is. Whatever size that is. 15/16 seems to fit on there. So that's a 1/2 inch, so we'll get the big gun. Looks like we're leaking all over my concrete too, so that's good. Oh. Can I have that back? Yep, definitely leaking all over my concrete. Anyways, put that back there. Hopefully I don't have to go hunt down my pickle fork and this will just come off. I'm gonna have to go hunt the pickle fork down. So I'll be right back. Okay, and now we're back. See if I can break this loose. There we go. Wow, I did a good job getting that centered. And I'm assuming that should have been up there. Just put that back for now. Pretend that didn't happen. I don't feel like buying one of those yet. All right, so that's off. I will probably have to look at getting the steering box off next, off the truck. And probably the steering shaft. Close you up here. So, I'm thinking there's a couple bolts in there. I know there's nuts on the other side. How I get this rag joint off, though, I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to have to do some research. I think I just loosen the shaft and it slides up. Because it looks like it just kind of locks in on these tabs. So it might just be a matter of loosening that bolt up there. Let me not blind you with my light. And just kind of pushing everything up and getting that off. Or maybe it's just a matter of taking the box off and pulling it out the front because I don't have the fender on the truck. That would make life a lot easier. So maybe we'll try that. All right. So these two bolts are a 3/4 inch. And then I think I got one up here. That might be all of them for this guy. I'm gonna rattle these off, see how much dirt comes out of the frame. Uh-oh. And that one's a through bolt. So we're gonna have to find a wrench, which I don't think I have. I think they're all in the truck, which isn't here. I'm sure I got one of them fancy universal wrenches. Yeah, let's see. I got a vice grip and a crescent wrench. One of those two ought to work. I guess we'll try the crescent wrench first, because this isn't really that rusty. Just dirty. All right, maybe we are going to go to the vice grip. Yep, vice grip. Should have known that's what we would be coming to. See? Vice grip solves everything. All right, I'm gonna move you guys over and we're gonna see if this power steering box is just gonna come off of there or if it's gonna fight. All right, we're gonna see if we can get this to just slide off. So far the hardest part has just been trying to find my tools. See if this will just come off. I'm gonna run into a problem though, because I didn't take that nut off that's down here somewhere. I should probably do that before I get too excited and make more work for myself. That's gonna be really fun to get off. Because I already lowered the truck. Might have to put the jack on it or turn the wheels all the way. We'll try to see if I can go, see if we can. It's hard enough. Thanks for testing space. Let's try to find it. Hey, you'll get something else now. I don't know how stuck this thing is in here. A little bit stuck this thing. I don't know if it is or not. No, so far all we're going to do is just down here. All right, I'm going to get in front of the camera. We may be able to just brute force that off of there. Let's find my big wrench. There we go. Take that off. Looks like it's the same nut as the other one, so good. I've got two of them. And we might as well not even play around. Just grab the pickle fork. Hopefully we can just give this like 2 or 3 good whacks and she'll come off of there. There we go. And I guess maybe we'll just try to pull on it. Pull and pry. We'll see if she'll come off of there. Probably not. I'm sure I gotta do something with that rag joint. Might have to beat those bolts out because I didn't take them out. I undid the nuts. Let's see if that helps any. Well, that seems to be helping. Okay. Well, my dreams are shattered. I guess I got to figure out how to get this rag joint off. Looks like it's honestly riveted on there. Oh, I guess there's a bolt here, huh? All right, guys, so we made a little bit of progress here. I believe I may have purchased the wrong kit. I think I got a kit for a 63 to 66 based off of how the frame looks on this drawing here. So I would start, if you do this kit and you get this drawing and you're doing a 62, start with these holes, put this guy in. This was in the wrong spot. I also had to come around here, and you can see on this side, there's a plate here the frame wraps around. We had to buzz that off a little bit. But now I've got a couple spots here ground down. I'm gonna test fit this box, and then I'm gonna weld these on, and then I can through bolt into the new power steering box. But before I do that, I want to obviously make sure it's going to kind of line up. I did manage to get that rag joint out, and I got that off of there. The intermediate shaft, I think it's called. So that's out of there. I kind of blew this apart on accident. Apparently my rag joint was original because it was riveted on, and it was actually kind of nice until I got a hold of it. So I'll need one of those, or I'll do that Jeep steering shaft I was talking about earlier. In which case, I think this is all going to go away anyways. I'm thinking about getting a new column. You can get the I Did It knockoffs on Amazon for like 150 bucks. So I think we're going to go that route. But my screen shut off. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to get these bolts pulled back out of the frame. I'm going to test fit everything, get it mocked up, and then I'll fire up the welder, throw a couple tacks on it, throw a little bit of paint on there, and we'll call it a night. Guys, so we're getting ready to put the XJ steering shaft in, so I'm going to give you a little preview of what's going on here. So I've got the new column in, and I slid the new shaft, which is right here. You can see that big notch. There's a screw that goes through that hole, and we have to notch this shaft. So I just slid this guy on here until it was flush. Let's see if I can get you in there. You can kind of see the shaft coming out of the column. I have it just flush with the end of this joint here, right there. And I took a Sharpie and I marked a line on the shaft, and I'm just going to take my grinder and I'm going to grind a groove in there so that when I put the bolt through, it has something to lock against. Doesn't look like we have to take much out of there, but hopefully that'll keep it from, coming off. So I'm going to squeeze the grinder up in there and do that. And I already got my lines made. I ended up taking my old line in, and I got this one made locally. They bent the stainless bit for me. Bring it around. They added a bunch of these extra fittings on there. I was able to clock it. And then I've got her run up, and they reused the original line out of the OEM part from the truck. The feed line from the pump, I was able to use the original line. Didn't have to modify it. The return, I was able to reuse from the Hydro Boost to the pump. And then I actually got a piece of power steering line here from the pump. And then the second line, I actually bent with my tubing bender for brake lines. You can see it comes out. And all that is a piece of the stainless steel transmission line out of the original truck. I just cut a piece off with the tubing cutter, bent it up, and I was actually able to use the original end where it went into the transmission, or actually I think in this case into the radiator, and it already had a bulb or a ball on it. I just took the fitting off. So now that I've shown you the lines and got distracted, we're going to come back over here. I've already taken the bolts out of the shaft, obviously. Can't see nothing there, can you? Let's put you there. So I've already taken the bolts out. I test fit this shaft on here. It does look like it's going to go on. I did have to get in here and open this up a hair just so I could get it to start. I'm sure I'll have to persuade that on the rest of the way. But we're going to go ahead and take this grinder. I'm going to make some sparks really quick and hopefully bolt that right on. We're going to have to go this way. Okay. Go ahead and grab our bolt, do a little test fit. Hopefully let's just slide right on there. Maybe I should put the right end in there first. And it's probably not a big enough slot. Oh, maybe it is. No, it appears that doesn't actually need to have a slot in it, I guess. I'm sure that's more to do with my universal steering column than anything. Okay, well, slot's unnecessary on the cheap Amazon column. Just go ahead and tighten that up. Hopefully that'll draw into that channel a little bit. Alright, well, that end's on. So, now we're just going to extend this out. I'm sure I've done this completely backwards now, and it's going to be a pain in my butt, but go ahead and put this on here. And hopefully I can just tap this down. Move the light so I can see too. Okay. Slide my bolt in. Maybe. There we go. All right. And now it appears with power steering. Minus the power part because the engine's not running yet. But that's really all there is to it. It's pretty straightforward. If you've got the newer column, if you have a square body column that's got the D shaft on it, it should just bolt right in, because this is square body power steering. Or a pump off of like a 76, I believe. Which, that was my other part of the issue with this line. This has the 3/8 flare fittings, and all the new stuff actually has the metric O-ring fittings. So I had to convert those over, which is why I got the custom hose. All right, we're going to get back to playing with the column because it's only held in with a strap right now. All right, so there you have it, guys. That was pretty straightforward. I think maybe took me 2 or 3 hours, and it was with hunting down tools and everything else. I actually got a race I'm going to tomorrow down in Pittsburgh, so get this cleaned up and go home. That'll probably be it for this weekend, and yeah. Hopefully in a month or two we'll be driving this thing. It's not going to be pretty, but who cares? We'll be doing burnouts, that's all that matters. All right, well, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow so you can see the rest of this build. I'll see you next time.